2, 1.
Here we go.
We're live.
mAng and Neads Show. What's going on? Huh? mAng and Neads Show. Sonic Garden Live. Get it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Sonic Gardens Radio and the mAng and Neads Show. Here we are, me in the back at the control desk. I'm trying to, manage all this stuff, and we got Mr. Josh Uwa at the main desk, main anchor down here at the mAng and Neads Show, bringing us the latest in facts as well as some opinions, some predictions, and some worries. Mr. Neads. All right. Sonic Gardens Radio intro song here by Mr. Ben Wayne from the Ben Wayne sessions back in 2017. 3 years ago, March time, Ben Wayne was at the old Sonic Gardens, and we were, doing some stuff. We didn't have a lot of, we were kind of take one sessions where we didn't, he was coming after work, and he was doing a lot of traveling, and he'd come by, and we had some pretty cool, events and versions. So this one here, Souls of Fire, give you another little taste of this thing before we get into it.
I like it. Is that what's going on?
Oh, yeah. Here's a way I can do it to bring it both in. So, yeah, we would get together like a couple times over that month 3 years ago. He was coming all the way from Syracuse, so it wasn't exactly a super convenient thing to come jam. But anyway, we did have we had some good sessions, and that was Horst Reinheimer on the drums, and Chris on the keys, me on the bass, and Ben on the guitar, the acoustic guitar, and vocals. What a voice on that guy.
Oh, yeah.
If you're listening out there, Ben, when all this stuff starts to clear and we get some ability to get back out, even if it's limited, definitely need to come down and do another session. And I see you got a lot going on up in Syracuse with Jess Novak and, some other, looks like you had a band going too. So we'd love to hear from you. Call in number 607-373-HEAT. That's 4328. And anybody wants to give us a call, we might call you back.
Yeah.
If you call.
You might be lucky enough. Or we might even answer.
Or we might be able to answer. So, again, 607-373-HEAT. You're listening to Sonic Gardens Radio and the mAng and Neads Show.
mAng and Neads.
Daily update of, what's happening in the world right now. We've been running this thing. This is day 21 of the Central New York quarantine lockdown. And here we are, still running this thing.
Yeah. We made it.
Still here.
So far, so good.
So far, so good.
What do you got going on in there?
Well, that time with the music, I was able to bring it down at the exact same time directly through, the thing. Maybe I should do it that way from now on.
Huh. That's a good idea.
Yeah, that way we both get the music, killed at the same time.
Yeah, well.
Hey,
Yeah.
It worked a little bit.
Yeah, I like music.
Every day we're improving a little bit.
I'm into music.
Things are getting a little better.
I like that's a good song.
Yeah, man.
Real
That was
good
a cool.
song.
That was a cool time there for sure. Love to do it some more again.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. What else? What else you got going on?
I don't know.
We're trying to get 1,000 subscribers here.
We are too.
This is our short-term, long-term goal. So anybody that can help us out just to become relevant and we can maintain this thing would be great. So hey man, I'm gonna jump over into some numbers here.
If we're right here with it.
If you're ready for that. All right, bringing it up right now. Bam,
motherfucker.
All right, total United States coronavirus cases is 330,386.
Exactly.
And there's been almost 10,000 deaths and 17,000 recovered, which still puts us over 300,000 open cases in right here, in the U.S. alone. And when you break that down, a huge portion, a third of these cases are in New York. And they just they got another 7,000 cases just today. And going back to what we've been saying, I mean, these numbers are huge, even in comparison to the worst days in Italy. I can only imagine that New York and New Jersey hospitals are just getting hammered.
Right.
Really bad.
If you actually break it down, like deaths
per state?
No, if you break it down, like in the U.S., like deaths to total people that have recovered, you know how your percentage is fucking high.
Well, that's kind of what we were noticing in Italy too, was that it was like an even thing, and I think it shifted. But you want to know where your percentage is high is when you break down the states. So remember, we're saying the United States as a whole yesterday was 21. We'll check that in a minute. But looking at this right now, New York State, the death per 1 million of population is 15,408.
Wait, what? For the United States?
No. This is New York, so that same scale, you can scroll down if you look at the United States. That's what I got pulled up.
Right, but
the deaths, or I'm sorry, that's
no,
tests.
You got it wrong.
Oh, shit,
I was saying, holy shit.
Hey, man, see?
No, but I had 212.
Oh, it is 212.
And I was like, huh.
I was looking at the wrong column.
You were at test per million.
Yeah, that really scared me. All right, so test per test.
I was like,
million.
Holy fuck, some shit happened.
Some shit just happened. Some reporting. All right, so hey, that goes to show right there that we are a bit of cross-checking each other and making sure that we're not just allowed to spout any nonsense that we want to. So, okay, I was looking at that wrong, but it is 212, which is higher than like Italy and Spain, and those ones were the worst numbers.
So another reason why
New York as a whole now is at 29. Yesterday we were at 21. Right. So as you can see, this is increasing on a daily basis. Some might argue that as the cases clear, it's going to reduce, but I don't know. I don't know, man. Total test, they almost 2 million 1.75 million tests have been given in the United States, which is superior to any other country, to give it that. But at the same time, should have been a month ago, and should have been should be more.
You notice how China doesn't have how many total tests they've done?
That's over. Yeah, the facts that we've been saying for days. That
so another thing with China, if you tested asymptomatic and you were asymptomatic, they didn't put that down as someone who tested positive for it. As of a day ago, they had been doing it like that. So if you tested positive and you became asymptomatic and you never got any symptoms of it, but you had tested positive, they didn't count it as a active case or a case at all. So
yeah, yeah.
There's something.
Well, there you go.
Something going on over there.
There you go. So it's actually those numbers should be closer to what we're hitting right now. But
maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But they're locked down. They're not this shelter in place, social distance bullshit. They're locked right the fuck down. Or they were. I guess they've opened back up by now, but
so in the technical world, France has passed China as far as reporting. And like we said, that could be off. But France at 90,000 cases. But, I mean, man, what a staggering 325,000 cases in the United States. And this is, I mean, we're going to see this number climb into the millions,
UK's coming for China, too. UK and Iran. UK's at a hotter pace. Turkey's bringing them in there every day, too, at about 3,000 or 4,000. 3,000. UK, 3,000 yesterday. 5,903 already today, new cases, so they're ramping it up.
All right, I'm doing that same now that, we get all these updates coming back in on Shenango County. I think we were sitting at 39 when I looked yesterday.
Oh, I thought it was yeah, that's what they had. It was 55 or something, but yeah.
Otsego 26, and like we said, those
Madison
numbers
County was 55.
Those numbers are going to climb rapidly, I believe.
Right.
As the testing starts to come back quicker. 39 cases, it still says on the John Hopkins. Is there something on the Worldometer that breaks that down?
What, for counties?
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but that doesn't mean it's not there.
Right. So 39 is pretty significant based on how long have they been carrying, all those things. Well,
39.
So what else? What good info you got? What's the latest on what's the news? What have you been hearing about? I kind of wanted to dig into this insider trading a little bit.
Huh.
And do a little
I don't know
check that out.
That,
well, the one with all the Congress people, and I think we should give them the shame. We can pull up their photos.
Oh,
I was trying to do that the other day. We can throw them through the wall of shame.
We could. I thought they're. I don't know. So it was so many days ago now.
Now it's old news. The way everything goes.
Yeah, well, no, because I don't know. People are dying and shit, so that's really like put on the back burner, I guess.
Well, I believe they should definitely be looking at.
They'll come back to it.
That those people should be.
They'll come back to it, but like I said, they got so much going on now. Everybody's grabbing their ass, and all these governors. You know what I mean? They're like, some of them are some of the Democrat ones are kissing ass because they need help, and they know that's the only way they could get help was if they tell Trump yes this or be nice to him. Seriously, like.
Yeah.
I heard that the governor from Cali, what's Gavin something or something like that?
Gavin Newsom. He's that dude. I've been watching him. He was the lieutenant governor for years. He's I've been watching that guy for a long time. I think that dude's cool.
In the past, though, he's had it out. Him and Trump didn't see eye to eye. But
yeah, you got to realize that California is, I believe, it's the third largest economy in the world.
Right.
So it's no joke, man. Like there's a lot of power there. It's like people talk about, we want to succeed from New York City.
That's
and
so
it's
stupid,
like,
really.
stupidest thing ever, considering that we have nothing to offer and they have everything to offer.
Right.
And, it's kind of like out there, same kind of thing. It's like California could be its own country if it wanted to.
Right. It could be. Old Cali.
Yeah.
It's great out there.
There's definitely some awesome things.
Right. Earthquakes.
And some not awesome things.
Shit.
Earthquakes.
The
fact that, California might be gone in another 100 years, I guess.
Or shorter. I forgot what I was gonna say.
So healthy, everybody's healthy. Nobody's
sick yet.
got the sniffles in your orbit.
No, not yet. Just a
And
matter
me
of
either.
time, probably.
So here we are, 21 days, which means I would assume that that we are fairly safe. You know, although it would be nice to get like a a test at any time that I wanted.
Right.
Find out. But again, that kind of sucks too, because then you like what are you open to? Going and getting it again?
Right.
So you know what I mean?
I don't know,
Or,
it's
or
like
going and getting it
Yeah, it's like
finally,
getting it's like getting an AIDS test, right?
Yeah.
You go back, obviously. Right? You obviously go back.
So it's like every month you're gonna need a coronavirus test.
Well, maybe you might need an AIDS test every month too. Depends what
your activity,
the activity of a human being is.
I guess so.
Right? Like yeah. Out there, Rod. Or yeah.
What's the risk?
What's the risk?
Yeah.
Fucking A. Hey. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So hey, special Sunday edition. Here we are.
Yeah. Is it Palm Sunday?
Is it?
I don't fucking yeah. Like I know.
I don't know either, man.
Well,
anybody wants to let us know about that, sure.
Figured you did, but
call-in number, it's running across the bottom of my screen up on the top, 607-373-4328.
Call us and tell us.
Bring the heat.
Is it Palm Sunday?
HEAT. So hey, man, I guess I've been I guess I caused enough stir with my Trump loving friends.
What do you mean?
Because I kind of like wake up every day. Somebody's like specifically they want to, they want to
go after you.
Oh, they want to like, they're people that aren't they're my friend.
Oh,
they're good people, man. I know
right.
that. I just the biggest thing for me about when anybody shares any like accusation or some like vague opinion from some
dude, don't worry, there
from anybody.
I see them all they fucking do.
And then
these people
so it's like
hammer.
So they're able to like put down whether it's whatever you name your Democratic
dude, these fuckers hammer Cuomo
person to hate, right? And then so they're willing to accuse things based on no evidence and no investigation. But
right.
then they deny the findings of an actual investigation
on Trump.
Right. So it's like, it's just that's the blindness that gets to me.
Well, it's not blindness, but so they, damn fucking well, we know, like, I don't give a flying fuck what you say to what they say to you or me, though. If they watch a press conference and they don't believe some of the things like that you or I say, like, oh, he was or he did this or whatever, like, you fucking see it too. Like, they see it.
Yeah, like, it's almost
they
like
see it all.
We should it's almost like you want to
don't for a second think it doesn't pop in their head like, holy shit.
You know how okay, look at this. You know how like you watch a movie with someone else, okay?
Yeah.
If you're watching a movie with someone else, there's a certain amount of like subconscious that like you're curious of how they're interpreting the movie or whether or not they find the movie, entertaining or funny, whatever the circumstance is, morbid, like did they laugh at that part that was like dark?
Huh.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like
you're
not a huge movie watcher, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
I watch some movies, but even when I
look
watch
at it
them
like
with
YouTube.
people, though, I never
like even YouTube. Okay, I come over to you and I say, "Hey, watch this YouTube video."
Right.
And then we're watching it together.
Right.
And there's kind of a different element to us watching it together. Like I know in some cases, like I'll watch some progressive independent like YouTube news where they'll be breaking down this case, and then I'll show it to you, and then when I'm watching it with you, I can kind of see the the snarkiness or the way that person comes across as a douchebag.
Right.
Okay. So,
but that's like my go-to thing.
But
right?
I notice that when I'm by myself, right? Yeah, that is your go-to thing anyway. So everybody is. But I notice that stuff. Like I notice that stuff myself in people. But I also let it slide in certain aspects of that whether it's not they're trying to make a certain point, and that's why I'm letting the snarkiness slide. But
Yeah,
basically, so my point is that if we could all sit down and like put up on the big movie screen and we watched it together with these people, I think that they like you like, and then you like put those little pulse things on them to see like when things get a little like tense, because they're thinking, and that would kind of indicate whether or not deep down they really find the stuff that he says.
Well, when they
like,
hear him say something stupid,
so
they
it's
gotta be
cringe.
thinking, "What's he gonna come back with now? What is he gonna do now? He's gonna go, hey, come up here and answer this," or he attacks.
But like, how much just within any segment that you pull up, like even what you were pulling up yesterday, which was just random when we came to a silence, you bring the phone up and all of a sudden you hear this guy talking and it's him. And no matter what sentence or paragraph he does, says, or types, it's like,
oh, the guy's got a million sound bites.
There's
you can take
so
a million
much,
fucking sound bites.
There's so
from
much.
That guy.
There's so much unawareness.
Like
of
if
what
you
he's
made
doing.
a doll with the pull string, you'd have to fill it with like an hour and a half full of like his sayings to make it a real like doll thing. Those dolls that, like the old Pee Wee Herman dolls. I'm sure you had one of them.
Hell yeah.
And they make that noise, or they say a few lines or whatever. Trump's would go on for like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Some of the best videos are the ones where they put the accordion. They like Photoshop an accordion in between his hands because of how often he does this, and then and then they basically were like, all his speeches would be better if there was an actual accordion going.
Oh yeah, he was talking with his hands yesterday.
And you see this big, that big, and then you can go through the whole thing, and they would actually put the sound effect in there. He's got
little
too
hands,
while he's talking.
Does he have little hands?
Oh, careful. Yeah, people, like, I bet you they probably have, like, same thing. They have, like, an enhanced photograph that says actual size, and it's, like, shows that his hands are not as little.
Well, I mean...
what we did discover about Mr. Josh Uwa is, as we were getting into our, talking about, like, the reach of John Jones or some of these world-class athletes. And turns out Mr. Josh Uwa's sitting on a 78.5-inch reach.
Fucking A.
Can you believe it?
Wingspan, man. Fucking A.
That's
Imagine if I would have had a broad chest.
78.5 inches.
Would have been in the 80s.
I hear you. Pump some iron.
Oh, yeah. Fucking A. Ah, boy.
Nice.
So where's he's got to do a speech today, right?
He's been speeching every day, which is kind of funny because why aren't we hearing more from like Pence or
Pence goes out there every day with him. Don't worry. Oh yeah, don't worry. He comes out there.
He just doesn't have anything, no sound bites to walk away from.
No, not really. Like he can't. He knows he can't even hold a candle to what Trump's gonna say. Like I'm saying, Trump's like he's like reality TV. Like he's good for TV. If you want to watch TV, like he is good because he's gonna say something fucked up. He's gonna say something stupid. He might tell the truth for a second, and then and then in the next sentence he'll walk right over that fucking truth. Like he'll butter you up, say, "Nah, we shouldn't do this," and then he said the same thing about we can't have the probably worse than the cause or whatever, vice versa. Like we need to get our economy back. He kept driving that home yesterday. He wants pro football to start on time. He wants these other basketball and baseball to go. He wants his fucking economy back. So, but I don't like the way they're doing it now. It's not going to work that way. I don't see it. If you flap back out, even within the next month, man, you're going to get more infected. We'll see, though. That's why he's running it.
Mm-hmm.
He's the man. We didn't fucking hire him because he didn't know what he was doing. Why would it? No one would do that.
No way, man.
Right? You wouldn't make somebody the president that doesn't know what they're doing. So,
I just think it was a huge freak incident up against a horrible opponent that, and just crazy, man. Crazy how it happened.
Well, you got to think that they were gonna, you know what I mean. If they're Republican, they're gonna vote for him. They weren't gonna vote for Hillary anyways. And then some Democrats, maybe they're like, "Fuck Hillary, we ain't voting for her," so they didn't vote for her. I don't know. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
know.
that sounds about right.
I mean, if Bill would have ran, it would have been a different story. But he can't.
I don't know, man. Bill has just gotten kind of like creepier and weirder over the years too.
I mean,
like when you see him now, he's like,
that's my point. Oh, when you get old, yeah, don't get me going on the old shit. You know what I want to know though? I keep seeing this shit about Joe Biden. Did he do something to a lady? Is that true, or is that a true story?
Well,
I've seen some lady came out, but I haven't seen the whole detail.
That's exactly what I said before. Is it's like, how can anybody come out and start making accusations? I'm all for it. I don't care for Joe Biden. I never did, man. I think it's another situation where he's been a nobody that's supposed to be the ultimate leader that has nothing to even offer right now. He should be holding his own press conferences daily,
Well, I mean, you can't do that. You can't.
I'm saying, like, in his own, like, at least talking to the people, like the way that, as whatever, a home office.
Yeah,
dude.
But he's not in power. He's not, like, he doesn't run anything. Like,
yeah, but if
he was a governor or a senator or you know what I mean, a congressman, like, that would make sense for him to come out and talk. But he's not.
Yeah, so he should have like a podcast. I mean, even that
he should. He's somebody's old.
Like
grandpa.
Ted Cruz jumped into even podcasting, and his, like, they have a whole. It's like a whole station. It's like a whole Ted Cruz network. He must have set up, which is
he's trying to compete with
like
Bloomberg.
Yeah, like, well, that not really, but that type of thing where everybody on there is is that right, conservative right, all the shows and the programs. I know because I've been catching it in my little feed, and they're really pushing it, like one of those things where he must have campaigned it, like, as far as got the right people to get him to be relevant, like, unlike us.
Well, he's got money.
Yeah, and he knows who to.
It didn't just. Yeah, and he knows a ton of people.
Talk to and how to get the shit out there.
Well, yeah, because he's whatever you want to call.
Because it's kind of funny. Like, there's a few things that, like, no matter what I watch, which is, I'll admit that I won't call myself a Democrat, but I will call myself a progressive, and I'll call myself a, whatever. But so a lot of the stuff that I mean, my things are money out of politics. Money shouldn't run the country, and politicians shouldn't be able to be bought. There should be lobbyists shouldn't write our laws, and big business shouldn't.
Well, that happens kind of. Like, Bloomberg wasn't bought, Trump wasn't bought. They're both on both sides.
No, but that's a representative of the whole, which is, in the end, that is what's bought. Like, my opinion of, like, Trump is that Trump doesn't think he's, like, the man. He is protecting people within that same orbit. And as a businessman, he has people he deals with in the business world.
Oh.
And my feeling is that he's a small player that is, is really doing everything he can to secure his money, as well as all the other people that have money that have supported him and kissed his butt, as far as, like, not even necessarily kissed his butt, but, like, on that same page. He has, like, you hear about the one guy that's, like, his butler or some crap that has been, like, his...
Who, Trump?
Yeah, Trump has, like, a butler guy that is, like, his, consigliere, if he was a mobster, he's, like, the guy that he talks to. At least that's what I understood from a while back. They tried to exploit him because the guy was a known, had known ties to Nazi and white supremacist beliefs. Oh. So that was kind of like the link to put Trump as he's born in, like, to racism. He's been taught it, whatever.
Might have been.
What do I know about that? Not much.
Not much.
But here's a song we could dedicate and give a little segue, unless you got something you want to add at the moment.
I mean,
special Sunday edition.
I just think that you're never gonna see that. With the way you're saying about money being out of it. No matter what, somebody wants to be in power and they want to help somebody else out. And it isn't you and I. Bernie says he wants to, but they're not going to let him be president. And the next guy that comes along like that,
yeah, except for everyone,
not going to be president either. Like somebody you're right. He's probably the only guy ever that doesn't want to help somebody else out so they can make some backdoor money or so somebody can get something done that they couldn't get done because of regulations and rules. That's what a lot of it does. Like back when you get back into the early 1900s, like the Rockefellers and all them fuckers were all wanted to get something done, and they all put their fucking money, like you're saying, onto somebody, and there's no way in hell it's still getting done. There ain't no way in hell.
Yeah, but they did put a curb to that when like the walk softly, carry a big stick of Teddy Roosevelt.
Right.
And he's the one that, like we've talked about, he was a freak incident how he became the president.
Right.
Because he was a vice president whose predecessor died, was assassinated.
Yep.
That McKinley, I think his name was. And so then he went after big business and these places that were trying to own America with their wealth.
But they had already been set in stone for a while.
In my opinion, that has been a continued fight since.
Right.
There was, and basically once the the Great Depression, then there was no way to resist the which is basically exactly the campaign of Bernie Sanders.
Wasn't he the one that
in
brought,
a sense?
Isn't he the one that brought the booze back though? Like and got him out. Like isn't?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like all those things. So
that,
then it would be like if you compare that to right now, like specifically right now, November comes, and we put Bernie Sanders in, and all the things he's talked about, Medicare for all. There's 6.6 million people that just lost their jobs, which means they lost their insurance. Bam. Just
There's no
like
way that would work right now. No way in hell. No way. We'd get even more in debt than we.
It's not about. My point is that it's not about the debt. It's about we have to do whatever happened in those days where the taxes have to go up and it's going to take a lot to climb out of it, and that's what happened. But in the end, that dude was nominated, for the fourth term and then died, right? So so he was loved, and he was and whatever. And there's people to this day they're still trying, just like the Obamacare and
totally different times though back then.
But what I'm saying is we're coming up on that. That's what's happening, and that's what that's what I'm saying. I'm not trying to panic everybody, but what I think is, like I said,
we're too far with the technology and all that shit from when it was back then when it worked. He did a lot of good shit though. He bounced us back. So now if one of these motherfuckers needs to get
that's what I'm saying is now there is no way. Like if there was
whoever wins it needs to go and fucking weed will say, well, not save us, but it'll help a lot right now. Money. I'm talking money. Like they did just say, like you're talking about the Depression and shit. They brought back, they got them out of prohibition. They brought alcohol back, and it helped. And it helped them a lot get money back around. I mean, it didn't totally fix it, but it helped a lot. They got out of that fucking depression they were in.
Yeah,
and that was in the 20s too, right? That was in the 20s or 30, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot. And
weed would help right now. Like I'm not, and that's the only time you're ever gonna hear me say that because I've always been like, that's not my. I don't have a problem with weed, but I've never ever said, go ahead and legalize. But right now would be a great time.
Like all the things I just remember in high school, you would read about it, and they'd talk about oil, and you could run your car. They'd talk about it's stronger than stronger than than cotton. As far as like if you had, and I even right now I have a pair of hemp Adidas, and those things are those are like woven, like the material, everything about it is so nice that it's like, why was this? It only makes sense. Like I said, there was multiple campaigning to outlaw it, and it was the reasons were not for the betterment of society.
GW had it, didn't he? He had a hemp farm, didn't he? Pretty sure I know.
Old George Washington. I've heard that. Yep. I heard it was a very common thing.
Right.
It was just something. I mean, hemp is not. I don't think there's any psychoactive chemicals in the.
His wife, when he married,
plant.
what was her name? Married Todd, right? When he married her, she was already wealthy. She had it going on.
Wait, who's that?
When we're talking about George Washington, right?
Oh,
we
GW.
Were, right? Yeah, GW, George Washington.
G-dubs.
Yeah, Mary Todd. Her name was Mary Todd, right? I don't. If I'm wrong,
I don't know, man. Maybe.
I'm right.
I don't know the wives of presidents.
She was.
I don't even know. I realize I don't know as many
wealthy.
presidents as I thought.
She had a bunch of money back then. Well, I mean, for back then.
Yeah.
And they owned. Yeah, they had slaves and shit. They were. It's not like they were.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He did get us. He fucking, man. That guy failed and failed and failed, and he still turned it a fucking round and was able to get and hold off the fucking British. And then, I mean, if he didn't get help from France at the end there, it wouldn't have worked out the way he thought it, or it was supposed to work out. But that guy, I'll give him that, man. He fucking tried and tried and tried. Like, he had a few failures. Like, he went out to Ohio and failed out in Ohio early on in his, I think he was like 25 or 26, something like that. But he kept going and going. See, when he went and did that, he was with the British. He was helping the British out. He wanted to be a general. He didn't give a fuck. And then the years kept going by or whatever, and then he was like, fuck it. And he went to like the Congress, because they had like or the People's Congress or some shit. Like, Pennsylvania, New York, a few of them. I don't know exactly all of them. That's why I love telling stories, because I only know half the fucking story. But anyways, so we went to the People's Congress, and they fucking were able to form this army or whatever. And then it eventually was the one, and they were able to push the British and then push them out, man. Like but it didn't just happen overnight. Like he was in that for like fucking 25, 30 years or something like that. I think he was in his late 40s, early 50s when he became president, maybe a little later. Like he wasn't real old though when he became president. And he was like the obvious choice, because he was the one that was able to get the British to get the fuck out of here and go back to their homeland. And he was like the obvious choice, because they knew they had to do something like that. And there was no vice president. So, and then he did 2 terms, and then like Sam Adams and...
Sam Adams?
Maybe not Sam.
I don't think it was Sam.
All right. What, you don't think so?
I think that's just the beer.
All right. Maybe it
was like...
John Adams, sorry.
John Adams, yeah.
Sam Adams. Jesus Christ.
It would be cool, though.
Yeah, it would be cool. But Sam Adams. John Adams.
See, we call each other out on our bullshit on this show. That's
John
right.
Adams and I think one of the Jeffersons, they decided they wanted to get him out, so they started the other party. And this was at the end of his second term. And he just decided, fuck it, I'm not going to run. So that's kind of when they started to go for another party. So there was like, now there's 2 parties, but that's a whole different ballgame. I just know about certain people a little bit, and yeah, I do know a little bit about George Washington. I mean, it was forever ago too. So,
right.
Yeah. There you have that part.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just jump a little segue here. We'll do we'll give you guys a little tune. Just let you guys know. I found this song here. This one's by Uncle Shake. We were planning on having a.
I see they're doing their own little thing.
Yeah, they did a little something, but we were planning on having a show on 410. We were going to be having a Sonic Gardens party with Uncle Shake. They were actually going to be coming back for their third time to Sonic Gardens. Although the last time they were here was right before we had the neighboring tenant fire that caused us to move out of there and find this beautiful, much more cozy and
It
better
is
place.
Palm Sunday.
So we will get
So
this
you know.
show again, and we're gonna get this to happen again. But until then, hope you guys are doing all right there, Uncle Shake. And here's your song. This one's called Parasite, which I think is relevant to our circumstances. This was recorded on February 18th of 2018, and you are all listening to
mAng and Neads Show.
Sonic Gardens Radio. Sonic Gardens Radio. Let's try that again.
Oh, I was wondering why I couldn't hear it.
Cut.
It's not playing. Happy New Year.
So many reasons to never even try. It's easy to forget it all, lay down and wait to die. It'll drain you of your sanity, deprive you of your will. It's a long, hard road, and it only goes uphill. The world is dark and dismal, everybody's got the blues. If you start to feeling happy, just turn on the evening news. Disease and wars and deadly storms, our nation's gripped with fear. Just remember that it's hopeless and the end is drawing near. Sometimes it's hard to justify merely getting out of bed, but I've found a way to beat it, and it's all inside my head. I got a parasite living in my brain. Well, it only eats the sad parts and the rest just stays the same. No, everything is normal near as I can ascertain, except I've got a parasite living in my brain. Well, I wake up every morning with a smile on my face. I hurry through my morning chores and out the door I race. I can't wait to get to work, find new challenges to mount. No, every day's a blessing and I have to make it count. No, life is far too short. Tomorrow I might wake up dead. I'm so thankful for that parasite that resides inside my head. I got a parasite living in my brain. Well, it owns me to smile, which sometimes makes me look insane. But I'm seeing silver linings. Well, everyone complains, and I owe it to that parasite. Slowly eats my brain. Well, it feels so nice, it's just not right that you can feel it too. So for 3 low installments of a $19.95, I'll offer it to you. And that's right, my friend, I sell the end of all your pain and strife. And I guarantee, or else it's free, you'll live a better life. You'll have a parasite living in your brain. You only have the blues to lose, true happiness to gain. You'll see a ray of sunshine smiling through that driving rain. If you buy my parasite, put it in your brain. 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 Put it in your brain.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, You are listening to Sonic Gardens Radio, mAng and Neads Show.
mAng and Neads.
And fade us back here. All right.
All right.
Here we are. mAng and Neads Show, Sunday edition. 21 days, Central New York quarantine. And we're just here we are. Anybody wants to call in, 607-373-HEAT. H-E-A-T.
Heat.
That's right. That's 4328. And,
It is.
you know, bring it. Let us know what's heating up your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, boy.
Well, what is it today? Yeah, I don't know.
So, what were we talking about? All right, so Theodore Roosevelt, why was he did do 2 terms.
Theo.
Yeah, Theodore did.
Yeah.
But
maybe more. Maybe a little more
no,
because
that was Franklin that did more.
No, but he might have because he had to complete a.
He only listen. He served for some reason. He served as the 25th vice president from March to September 1901, and then he became the president.
Because the guy got whacked.
But so it would
see that's what I'm saying. Is
he
the
got
guy,
whacked in March.
The dude had a different VP before that McKinley, and they were worried about this loudmouth guy that was ranting around about honing in the business and making them do their share and not letting them get away.
So the
with,
vice president got whacked. You're saying?
No. Listen. So he was campaigning on the same Republican ticket to take over to challenge that McKinley, and he was making like a name, you know, as far as he was a Navy, you know, captain. He was like a war as far as that. I think he had a big part in the Spanish-American War,
right.
As far as like so he had the like respect, you know, as the
So you're talking
that
about
kind of guy.
Roosevelt did?
Yeah. But so he was kind of making a name for himself across the country by calling out the big business and, you know, saying he was going to come down hard on him for, you know, all those things of like the early days that were like, you know, overworking people, underpaying people, you know, being greedy, being corrupt, all those things. So that was like what he was campaigning on. Meanwhile, the McKinley guy, just like the Republicans of today, they're all, I mean, everybody, okay, they're all owned. But, you know, especially this guy was a rich guy that was basically in position from the Roosevelts and the J.P. Morgan, all these people that definitely, you know, wanted a person in that was going to not regulate what they do so that they can maximize their profits. So anyway, he was making a name for himself, and they said, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to offer him, not even offer, because they must have like just said, I don't know. Either way, they offered him the VP. Right?
He went to Harvard.
Yeah, and he was a Navy. What was his official final title as a Navy?
He was Assistant Secretary of the Navy under the President William McKinley.
There you go. So he was already in that cabinet.
But he was also the governor of New York during. He was from 1899 to 1900. He was the governor of New York. The fucking guy did a bunch. He was like all over the place.
And what I'm saying is he made a presidential run campaign. So and he wanted to challenge that McKinley.
So when Garrett Hobart died, he was the vice president. Did you know that?
Okay, so that guy died, and they moved him into the VP.
And they said, "You got to get up here, Theodore. We need you. You're smart. You went to Harvard."
But the underlying intent, at least you know, from the perspective that I had seen it, was that they made him the VP because VPs never became president at that point.
Oh, well.
So a VP was never.
Well, hold on. All right.
Never president. So like you could almost look that up. Who was the first VP?
I'm here.
Look it up. Who's the first VP to ever be president? I'm not saying never, but it was extremely rare.
Right. So we'll go back to my other thing when I was talking about Thomas Jefferson and John Adams and shit. So John Adams was the president after he did do a term after GW. And then
Right.
right after him, Jefferson went in there for fucking 8 years. And then the big boy came, fucking James Madison. So now we're on to we're talking about presidents. This is a mAng and Neads show.
Yeah.
Little history update on your Sunday. It's Palm Sunday.
Anybody wants to fill us in? What's your favorite president? You can just let us
Do you
know.
got
in the,
favorites?
let us know in the comments section. And
I can list about 40 of them that I don't like.
that's much easier. It's hard to know who you like and whether or not you
we
like
can
them.
go back and we can do a review of every president and we can break down why I don't like them if you want to do that. If we have
That
the
could be
time.
a special.
We could do that every day.
special
Every day for
episode.
40 something days, we'll break down
Yeah.
a fucking president.
Yeah.
I'll come
President.
with my homework.
Okay.
I
won't, but I'll ask you questions.
Yeah, you can ask me all kinds of questions because I can make shit up. Like no, but I do know about certain presidents. For some
Yeah, so
reason,
I just remember learning about certain times and like certain things.
right.
So anyway, yeah, that guy became VP. They anticipated that he would fizzle out, and then his cause would be halted. And then what do you know? Boom! McKinley gets whacked. In comes Theo, walking softly, carrying a big stick.
Wait,
which is-
McKinley didn't get shot though, did he?
What?
He didn't get, or I mean, he didn't die though, did he? He
Yeah,
just
he
got
did.
beat, right?
No, he died.
Oh, but he did 4 years, or he. All right. You were right about Roosevelt though. He was the first dude that was a vice president to become a president, but he only he did what 6 months of vice president.
And then maybe he was the guy who whacked McKinley.
I don't
Who knows?
You think McKinley?
Corruption.
You think McKinley got whacked?
He definitely got whacked.
All right, because he did 1897 to 1901. McKinley did. So that's 4 years to me in my math, but I'm not good at math.
It doesn't matter how many
He did
years
get
he
killed.
did it.
He did. Wait.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. That was the anarchist. That's the one, Johnny Camp, our original Mad Max departure. He's out there right now with his spring mullet,
Yeah,
probably.
he's probably got a couple guys tied up to a tree out there by
So,
his mom.
this is the
behind
one.
The pond.
McKinley was killed by an anarchist. That's my.
It was?
Yeah, an anarchist whacked
He
him.
definitely died. Well, we all died, but he definitely.
Got him, whacked him. Got killed by an anarchist. I remember because Johnny filled me in on the anarchist point.
Oh.
The part, like I knew the other part about how Roosevelt became the president after that. He was in Norwich, you know.
Who? Roosevelt?
Yeah, he's got pictures and stuff.
Yeah, he was lost.
He was campaigning.
No, he better goddamn well he was a fucking governor of New York. He should have been in fucking Norwich.
Norwich was happening back in his
Yeah,
day.
we had the O&W coming through the railroad,
O&W.
right?
Yeah.
Pretty positive that's what it was.
The other interesting thing
Tell
about
me
the
something
location of where we are in central New York is that there's a railroad that runs like right between the two main interstates that run east
He
and
got
west.
shot in Buffalo, dude.
In New York, so whacked in Buffalo. See, in freaking New York. That's
man.
so that like
He was shaking hands with the public when anarchist Leon, I can't say his last name. I'm not even going to try.
Leon.
CZOLGOSZ. You say that fucking fast.
Gloucester.
Shot him twice, man, in the abdomen.
Abdomen shot. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a slow death.
He died. Well, yeah, he died
Days later.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. 8 days later, or maybe 9. I can't, man. 8 days later, I was right. Yeah, he died, man, from gangrene, man, caused by the wounds.
Yeah, that was the same thing that we learned. Remember
Unbelievable.
that other crazy one that we watched on that salmonella?
About the dude that shot Garfield?
Yeah, and then they said that guy that he shot, he could have easily, like in modern day,
Been saved, right?
he could have easily been saved. It's just that they think that they probably contaminated him with dirty freaking tools in there trying to pull bullets out with
They couldn't have saved
rusty
what's his
shit.
name, though. Lincoln, he was
No,
not savable.
old Lincoln, he went down like a cowboy. 607-373 Heat. give us a call. Let us know what you're doing on this Sunday, day 21, Central New York lockdown.
It's a beautiful day.
Yeah, let us know any other issues or topics or stories that you've heard that interest you. If you want to bring, whatever, bring it. Heat, bring the heat.
What interesting shit do you got about Harding? Did he just die in there?
Who?
Harding.
I don't know who.
William Harding. Warren Harding.
I don't remember. Now you're stuck on you're loving the president's topic.
I mean, it's all because they work so hard to get there, and then they get there, and if they get shot or if they die from something, man, you know what I mean? You worked your whole, obviously you didn't just come up with it that year and be like, I want to run for president. That's something you sought out for a long time, except for Washington. That wasn't, he didn't, that was just sprung on him.
No, man, there was this amazing, anybody out there looking for something cool to watch, a great story, at least. I didn't read the book from Stephen King, but the on Hulu is 11.
Hulu.
I think it's 11/22/63 is the name of the movie, and it basically is it's 11/22/63. I think that was the day that Kennedy was assassinated, and it's just a Stephen King story about basically, it's a situation where you can go back in time and alter that time.
Oh.
And what would you do and how would you do it? Especially knowing what you know now, would you expose the conspiracy? Would you just and there were certain things that basically one guy had been doing it, and something about the time travel, it would wasn't as long as the real time. So the guy explained that he's already done it for a couple years and been trying to figure it out, and there's just certain things he's trying to verify, and it was if what's his name was acting alone, Lee Harvey Oswald, or if he was an actual CIA operative or KGB, all these things, and it just was a really if anybody likes Stephen King, for sure, this one was phenomenal story. It was really up there. I mean, I binge watched it, and it's 10 episodes, but it was up there with some of the greatest stuff I feel like I've watched on as far as TV, and a lot of times Stephen King ones aren't great. So I really enjoyed it. Thought it was a great story.
And this is about Kennedy getting shot, and what this is their
it actually
conspiracies and shit, or what?
Well,
I'm not real.
They take the conspiracy because it's a story. It's a fictional story by Stephen King, and so it's really more a story about time travel, and it's really more a story about trying to how people say things if I could go back and do this one thing.
If I could turn back.
Yeah,
time.
Stuff like that. So, and then we've run into circumstances in the world where it's even if you did that, then would it just turn out the same? Obviously we don't know because no one's done it, but is there a certain design or something that just leads to those things anyway? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's what it ends up really being about. That story is about the guy, and you try to change certain aspects of history or life, and it's not necessarily better.
Right. Don't turn it because he knew, because he was from the future and he went back, so he knew
Yeah, he was from the. It was without any spoilers. It was the coolest thing because he's just at this diner, this dude, and the coolest part is
getting dinner at the diner.
Another great thing is James Franco is the main character, which
Jesus
he's
Christ.
been in. He's done
a train wreck.
Yeah, but he's not
He's
really.
good. No, he's good.
He's
he
like
cut off his
he's
arm.
actually
he cut
like
off his arm in that one movie.
yeah, he's the guy that
24
was in
hours.
that movie. It just shows that he's he cut off his arm.
You did, right?
That's the actor though. It's like just
Right.
that was a true story of an actual real other
right.
person.
Another jackass
So then he
who
was
cut
just
off his arm.
he was just pretending to be that guy. That's like the movie whole thing. So in this case, he's like a school teacher and he's got really nothing much going on, and he runs into this diner guy, and the diner guy like goes to get a cup of coffee for him, and then he comes back, and then he has a conversation with somebody in the booth, and then all of a sudden the diner guy's like coughing up and like sick.
Right.
So the James Franco goes over, he's like, "Man, you all right?" And he's like, "I'm not well, I'm dying. I need you to, if you really want to help,
Heimlich.
if you really want to help me, like show up here tomorrow at like 10 a.m. or something, and I'll show you something." So the dude comes back, and he's like, "All right, what's up?" And he goes, "All right, go in that closet over there, have a look around, and then come out and let me know what you see." Right?
Yes. I'm
So
right here listening.
yeah. So the dude goes in the closet, and
Remember, don't spoil this for people.
okay, other than I already told you it was time travel.
Well,
He-
but
He
I mean,
reaches. I won't.
You're pretty
he
much gonna
reaches,
figure that out if you're watching the movie.
Here
right?
you go. So I'm
That is
trying to
time
entice
travel?
somebody to like wonder what the next thing is. All right. I'm just giving a little bit. It's like
All right.
it's like just a little touchy tease thing.
All right.
Gets to the back of the closet, and then boom! All of a sudden there he is.
Brains are on the wall.
No,
Oh.
he's in another. He's all of a sudden just on the street
Right.
in the same location. Only now it's like sometime in 1960.
Oh.
Okay.
Right. 3 years before the fatal shot.
So he's like, whoa, and he's looking around, and he's there.
That's what that
And
Bob
then-
Dylan song's about, right?
Yeah, like it's about
Some
the
of it.
assassination. So it kind of goes hand in hand. If you want to see a
Beautiful.
cool take on history, in the end, to me, it's like a story about you really can't change the past. We already know that.
Right.
You can't change the past. And sometimes, as horrific and as bad as things are,
Imagine if you could.
sometimes
So
that is what was needed to get to the next.
So imagine
thing.
if you could, and you go back to a day when two terrible things happen, and then you have to choose which one you're gonna save and not.
Right, like stuff like that.
Right?
And
Imagine
then-
that shit.
So there
Well,
was
today you can stop a plane.
yes. So there, in another little short thing. This all happens in like the first episode. So shit, man, I'm not giving anything away.
Motherfucker.
The other,
he's in. So
the other factor
it's a
with it-
series, like it's
it's like a
and
10
he-
episode series, and
Oh,
it
and
was
Franco does that kind of stuff.
like it was pretty good, man, on Hulu.
Hulu.
So
You.
So the other factor is, James Franco character is like, what the fuck? He goes back through and he says to the guy, he's like, what just happened? And the guy's like, when you go over there,
Is this before he cut his arm off? Or
he goes, different movie. When he goes over there, and when you come back through, right, everything stays the same. But if you go through again, then it resets everything back to the original.
Huh.
You know what I'm saying?
I kind of do.
So when you
I
change
think I was
something,
lost at times.
so if you change something and then you come back through this time warp, then it's
Right.
changed,
Right.
and it's done.
All right.
But if you go back through, then it resets it again to that exact same date and exact same time, and nothing changed from the
So does he
original
give fucking
transport.
Kennedy a flat tire so he doesn't make it to the knoll and then he
So
doesn't die?
without any spoilers, it's the events, it's everything that leads up to that.
They had to call AAA.
And the last thing with it, so it resets it. But
and
the
he was
other part
saved.
is that when you're over in that time warp, when you come back, no matter how long, it could be 3 years.
Didn't
and
they
you-
whack?
So a year is about equal to a minute. Okay?
Yes.
So when you leave, if you're over in the time warp world for a year
Right.
and then you come back,
Yeah. You've only
1
been
minute has passed in the present day.
in the present. You were
Yeah.
so you're gone for
So
a year, but you were
basically-
gone for a minute.
Right. So basically, this old guy begs the James Franco character to go set it right by saving Kennedy
And
in
you get-
in
right.
the past.
Huh.
And so he goes over there, and you know, he's like, geez, I can't just leave my life. And he's like, why? You don't have 2 minutes to spare? Because even though he was going to go over there for 3 years, it was only going to be 2 minutes in the real world.
Right.
So he's like, okay, I'll do it.
And
so now he was just a guy, and the guy had it all laid out with clues and money and everything, so that he could like collect money and he could, you know, have all these things like in this world.
Right.
And the other guy had lived in that world too. So yeah. So
and then Kennedy's brother got shot, right?
That's right. Yep. Bobby got shot too, man.
Somebody
a lot of
somebody
people
didn't like them Kennedys.
It was that era. That was the same when Martin Luther King Jr. got shot.
Yeah, the motherfuckers used to shoot people.
Malcolm X got whacked.
They fucking were out there just to shoot them.
Yeah, man. A lot of people were assassinated for sure.
Huh. Then they gave up, evidently. They fucking tried to whack old fucking I'm dropping them F-bombs like crazy.
That's okay.
Yeah, I know.
It's only the Sunday show.
Yeah, it's Palm Sunday. Palm 5th.
I don't know. Is
2020. It is. You know damn well it is.
I don't actually.
Oh, it is.
I would have known
is.
if I like had kept in more contact
with
maybe
Jesus. I know, but it is.
Yeah, definitely.
It is,
if I kept more
it is
contact
Palm
with
Sunday.
Jesus.
I will confirm that.
Okay,
so,
cool.
For everybody, giving a shout out to the
man,
to Jah.
Which you know,
tell me
regardless,
about it.
man.
Let's have a
Well, the stories.
What was I just talking about? I was
Jesus
just talking
is
about.
pretty cool, man.
They fucking tried to get rid of fucking Reagan. So they
did.
were still coming for it in the 80s.
Blasted Reagan, yeah.
In the 80s, they shot fucking your boy Lenin. Boom. Yeah.
I mean,
and then they've moved on from
and then
doing
my real guy, which was Peter Tosh. That one was the one that was awful.
Jesus. Well, we don't even know the half. I mean, you know about it, but you don't
I do know that
really
I do
why.
know the date that Peter Tosh was assassinated was
Right.
September 11th, 1987.
Oh, so they were still whacking motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He got killed in his home in a sort of like robbery, but
home invasion.
But it was they didn't really take anything, and they killed a few people.
Jesus.
See, an interesting factor there is that
They tried to whack Marley too, man.
yeah, that was they did.
What was that? 79 or 80 or something like that.
Yeah,
and that
like
motherfucker went out there and sang some songs at that concert.
he did too. Yep.
What a badass. He's a badass.
So the interesting thing about Peter's deal was that he was trying to create a Rasta reggae radio in Jamaica. And he was teaming up with a guy named Free Eye, who was a radio like a radio personality anyway.
Left Eye's dad.
And then the other guy was a guy named Doctor, and all three of those dudes got, you know, Peter got killed, and the two of them. But they were working on, so that was kind of why there was certain rumors that there was an assassination attempt to stop him from doing that.
Oh.
And, you know, a lot of us Americans, when we think of Jamaica, we think that everybody's
rum.
Well, we definitely think of rum, but we also think of the dreadlock and the, you know, and that whole culture. But in all reality, like the Jamaican culture, it's like at one time maybe a little more, but they've always fought that long hair dreadlock image. So
well, because there was a lot of whites over there fucking trying to fucking rule the roost as usual.
So you know, in that aspect is that the whole they didn't want to be known as as like this rebel, you know, Cuban type society where they, you know, so they would kind of really try to stifle the that reggae culture. And so the idea, and you can almost, you know, just go back to the 80s and, you know, coming up, they were trying to stifle them to have a radio network, which is amazing that we're looking at the world of YouTube now, where anybody can have a radio network and have any following they want, which is part of why the world is in total collapse here, I think.
Oh.
Is just the freedom. Like we,
freedom.
You know, the way that we,
freedom.
What we know. It's like,
is that Richie Havens?
What we know through like the underground media, and what we know through non-mainstream, the ability for people to have free thoughts and free conversation. Even what we're doing, you know, now we can say whatever we want. If someone wants to say, we're wrong or call up and say
We are wrong.
I mean, we're right, we're wrong.
Yeah,
it's opinion.
exactly.
We're
Right.
opinion. And
Right.
but whatever we're talking about is real.
Can't be
things
right
that
all
we
the
feel.
time.
Nobody's like dishing us an
Sometimes
agenda and saying talk about this or talk about that, so I don't know.
You got to stand up for your right.
Fight the power.
All right. So one quick thing about old Warren Harding. I knew why we
Guy loves the president.
So I knew why we were talking about Warren Harding. I knew there was something that I knew about him. He was on that list that we went over of the 10 worst presidents.
Okay. Oh yeah.
He's
and his
like,
son. And his son, right?
He is like
or his nephew or something.
Something like that. He's like the top, the worst. He's like one of the worst. He is in the top 3 of where he was terrible. But other than that, we don't need it. We're done with presidents for the day.
We could jump back to the.
What do you want to jump back to? God.
Jump back to our map.
Oh, I thought you wanted to. Oh,
we could give a couple more little
shouts out to Jesus. A quick
Palm
news
Sunday
thing.
Jesus.
Yeah, Palm Sunday Jesus. Do it for Jesus Radio. So in a couple other countries over there, they're disinfecting like the outside, like playgrounds and streets and all kinds of shit. They're using drones to do that. Yeah. I don't know how much disinfectant you can put on a fucking drone, but that's what they're doing. So that means they don't want to get out. That means it's hot breathing out there.
That's crazy.
Crazy. All right, so we're off of presidents. Yeah, I'm still stuck on the presidents, actually.
But that makes sense, man.
Using
to use drones. I mean, you're not there's no hazards.
Right.
See, there's another. Oh man, lost my train of thought there for a second.
Oh,
but
so
drones.
Lincoln did too.
Oh yeah. So back to what like we were talking about yesterday with like the future, and there was that zeitgeist. I guess we weren't, but
yeah, I definitely.
Me and Ryan were.
You and Ryan fucking went on a fucking whatever you guys took a little episode. I was out here.
Well, one of the things that I didn't mention. So one of the,
felt proud of myself because I don't usually listen too well, and I didn't even have nothing ever jumped in my head for me to even make a comment about anything. Usually it don't matter what you're talking about. I got something to fucking say, and I say it.
Wow.
But when you guys were saying that shit, I didn't have anything. Like, I didn't have nothing. I didn't. You guys, yeah. Wow.
No, so, okay, so just a quick little thing that I'm talking about there is that part of what this video went on to say was that the idea of socialism or democratic socialism
motherfucker
is kind of inevitable because as technology increases, there's going to be less and less jobs available.
Well, kind of, yeah.
Because it's just going to come down to that eventually things can be so automated that it's like, come
but
on.
there's always
and
a
they
thinking
showed how
human
you
out
can,
there that needs, like, that has figured something out and it comes big and they don't have... And humans have to do it for, I don't know. I just think
that's part of what I'm saying is they showed how you can build entire cities out of
robots.
Yeah, like just the same way like a 3D printer works as a giant machine. So it's like you don't even need people swinging hammers or like cutting things. It's like fully automated.
I saw this
house building and then you have the most efficient house, like the weatherization, the way it's heated, the way, like I said, if you're starting from scratch, and part of what I'm talking about here is that like we're all living on this society of possession and property, right? Like property and valued things and actual things that aren't even money that are valued, whether it's a house or a car, and just, like cars are obviously not really worth that much because they become obsolete, whatever, years later. But like, for example, you look at houses, right? And you look around at like the city of Norwich or wherever, and the majority of the houses are, 60 to 100 years old. Wow. Inefficient, it's inefficiencies. It's poor, like electrical work, because it's something, a lot of the houses are so old, they have 2-prong electric.
Old two-prong.
All kinds of shortcuts to make, that are less efficient in homes is what I'm
Right.
saying. And meanwhile,
Back at the
somebody
farm.
wants to sell a house, you can sell a house and they value it at a certain amount. But in all reality, it's like you walk into a house, and if you have to redo, all the sheetrock, if you have to redo all the electrical work, if you have to redo the bathrooms and the kitchens, the windows, the roof, it's like all of a sudden, what did you even get? They're constantly reselling like an old piece of crap car and dressing it up. Yet that's the game we all play, because obviously it's not like across the street is going to be, something that's half that price, because, the way it's all run. So to me, it's like, it's almost like an unfair thing, because who's going to lose in the end is going to be the last person that can't upkeep, the house before it literally crumbles to the ground, like that brick building over on State Street that all of a sudden just fell apart, right?
Wall fell out.
Yeah. So, why? Because, that building was old. It's not maintained. There's no
Right.
inspection. There's no mandatory, nothing, and anybody can do anything to improve the house, or I don't know, man. It's just kind of a weird deal to me.
It's all weird deal to Angelo.
Value.
Yeah, value, man.
What's things worth, Somebody comes along and says it's worth this. But it's
Right.
like, yeah, to who?
And then they buy it and tear it down and put a road through.
Pave paradise.
Or they tear it down and they put a Rite Aid there,
Well-
and then they build a Rite Aid next to it, and then they get everything out of the one Rite Aid
Yeah,
into
well,
the
there's
other
a-
Rite Aid, and then the building just sits there, and
There's
they
a
tore
case-
down a fucking 4-story huge, huge.
But
Remember that fucking
but
house?
was that place on its way to being condemned for some
Nah, it
reason?
wouldn't-
I
nah.
remember I had a friend that actually lived in that house
Nah,
when I was
because
young, so
they
I
not only
remember
did they
it was a nice place. I'm not saying
Yeah,
it
not
wasn't.
only did they tear that down, they tore Firestone was right there, right? Out and back there. And they tore the Mitchell Street fucking car wash out. Yeah, they tore the whole block out. The whole
See,
not
that's
block,
all-
the whole corner, sorry.
Yeah, that's like business, where I'm talking more about
I know
like
what you're
home-
talking, but
homes is like what I kind of feel like if you walk into some of the houses, you'd be surprised,
right.
Like I remember walking
Yeah,
into
I mean, you live in them till the fucking wall falls out, like that brick building down there. He rented
Yeah.
that fucker until he couldn't rent it out no more because it was dangerous. And if you were in that when that wall fell out, you probably weren't gonna have a good after day, I would say.
it probably wasn't too good, huh?
Yeah, imagine just being outside, like doing something to right around there, and the fucking wall falls out on you. What a way
Yeah.
to go, dude! Yeah, just out here fixing the. Ah, shit.
It's true.
Manga Neads Show.
Is there anything though
Warner, if you're listening, why don't you call us up?
is there anything that
We
was
know you're
pressing? What were the big
What?
so going down the line, the worst states right now
Going
are
down the line.
New York, New Jersey, and Michigan.
Oh no.
Now, everybody else, and even California, for example, seems to have got a lock on it.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I don't want to say it like that, but I guess I mean they've been fighting just as long, right?
But we have to come back to this amount of people being tested, and it's only fucking 1,751,296 people have been tested. So, you know what I mean? People are running around with this and don't know it, or if they do know it, they didn't before they knew it. They got a bunch of people sick. So if you have 300 and what do we got?
320 something we determined.
Yes. Well, yeah, that was in. So, like you said the other day, though, 330 will go with a million. So, and you've only tested fucking 1,751,000, like that, you're like we don't know the half of it. Is what it
that's
comes
the
down
whole thing.
to.
Is that so? How is it even gonna? Yeah.
We
How
don't
is it
know the
even
half
done?
of it. We don't know. Like all these states that are at the bottom, like Wyoming and Alaska and Dakota, like they got some reported, but how many do they really have out there?
Yeah, so actually, if you're looking at the tests like in New York,
Yeah.
okay, you're talking,
302,000, right?
well, they're saying, 302,000, which is 15,000 per million,
Right.
which is, basically 1.5%.
Yeah. You get out to fucking West Virginia has fucking 4,832 per million. So we don't know the half of it.
That's a
That's
half
what it
a
comes
percent.
down to. Yeah.
yeah, like
we don't know the
California-
half of it.
California's 0.3% of the population, I guess. If
Right,
that's how
and
you
they're
look at those
the
numbers.
second biggest state. They have about the second. Well, I guess Florida does.
I guess that's why I'm telling you, man. I called it yesterday, but I'm
No.
saying this is not gonna end easy.
My great predicting friend.
This is not gonna be good.
Right,
And
it's
I
not.
don't know. I don't know how to. I think we really should.
But
be,
we're gonna miss. See what they're doing. I know they're doing a lot of this. Like if these people that get it and are at home and they're all right and they whatever. So and they never get a test. They're not gonna get a test. They might go get a test afterwards, but they're gonna come back negative. So then that doesn't count. Like there's a whole, however you want to look at it. There's a whole game.
I believe they'll be able to tell if you had it. I think.
Yeah, but
the
there's a whole
remains-
game to their thing, so it doesn't have to mark it down like, oh, they had that, like, so our numbers aren't. I mean, they're no. I mean, they're a little
They're gonna
different.
play the same game.
They're
as
playing
China
the
and
same game
anybody.
as these other fuckers that are. I mean, like what's her last name? Banks. She said that half of the tests, just about 50% of the tests, they hadn't had the results to, you know what I mean, yet of ones that they had tested. It's just, I don't know. There's too much shit going on. I don't know how we didn't have we're like the best ever, we always say. So how do we not have the stuff to test and the test ready? Like,
We know why.
well, I mean, we don't.
We know
really.
why because
We think I know, but
he cut all that shit. And you know what I would look at it as is it's that same like situation of like a business that has to decide what is important to spend money on. And when you're a place that's running on this,
it's like
this
saying,
lean economy, and he was cutting everything. He was cutting stuff. You know?
it's like cutting fire extinguishers out of your building and it catching on fire and you get fucked.
Right. That's what I'm saying, because you decide that that's not
Right. We've
that's
never had a
cost too
fire
much.
in 20 years.
Yeah. Oh, that service is going to cost us, $1,000 a month. It's not.
Right.
It's not worth it. We're going to cut that, and regulation's stupid, and then you have a fire.
Right. And
Same
then
thing.
you're looking for a new building.
So you saved money, but did you? Because now this whole perfect economy is coming down, and like I said, the latest arguments of the defenders are that they just right now they're doing the deflect. You got the deny.
Yeah,
First
but like
they
I was
denied
saying
it.
the other day, you
He did
have
everything
to
right.
just because you're ahead for the first 3.5 quarters, you have to finish out the motherfucker. It's the final tally, right? Like, so when it comes, your 4 years, you were good for 3.5 years, but that fucking last 6 months, you fucking shit the bed, and we had the worst ever on it, right? Our
Yeah,
unemployment.
Jones and Reyes, man.
Yeah. Don't get me going on that fucking fight, dude. Oh boy.
All right, so
Oh boy.
but what I'm saying
They
is
were gonna have a rematch, you know that? I seen Reyes say they were planning on having a rematch.
No, it was
that fucker got drunk. No, I saw it this morning or something. Reyes was talking. You guys are bored. They ain't got much to do. Yeah, not much to do.
I'm sorry, I totally cut off what we were talking
Yeah,
about,
it's
which was a
alright.
hot
God only
hot
knows.
subject.
Fucking A.
Yeah, hot subject that I can't
Palm
remember
Sunday.
what we were talking about. Palm.
Warner, you got any grateful insight for us about Jesus, Easter, or something like that? We'd like to hear your thoughts and prayers.
Thoughts and prayers.
So yeah, if you want a quick New York is, did you say this already? 122,000 new total cases.
Total cases.
And Jersey, which is right, boom, next to it, below it. Well, it's next to it, but it's below it in this category. 37,505 cases. And then Michigan, the great state of Michigan, 15,718 cases. So, I mean, are they testing anybody or what? You've only tested 1,751 people.
Yeah, I think we're at the point now where it's like, what's the
plan?
Going on? What's the plan? What's the plan? Like, if we're gonna be out in this 30 days, that's why it's this ease us in, because there is no plan.
Right.
There's no plan, so they're just gonna keep extending. How's everybody doing? Oh, more people. Oh man, I'm telling you, this shit's gonna get
gonna get deep.
607-373-HEAT. Anybody wants to call in and let us know what you guys think about this whole thing, how you're doing.
Yeah, tell me.
I know in a lot of cases we're all living business as usual as far as life. We're able to do our gardening. We're able to go outside, clean up the yard, clean up the house. We're obviously internet and electricity and heat, and everything's fine, and everything is just early on. And I just think is anybody else without yeah, I think that there's going to be an increase in
no Red Dawn
in looting and
oh no, he's fucking talking about loot.
I just do think so.
Well, let's not get to that point.
I mean, not like today or but I think as things get more desperate,
2021, bring out the gun.
It's gonna be rough. I mean, we brought up that unemployment scale yesterday.
Unemployment.
That was not nice. Not a good look at what just that alone right there.
So what
if you break down like where's the money come from, how is that even going to happen? So what's the next scenario with that? We say, well, if you can't eat, I guess you just gotta die because.
So what I've been seeing from all these public offenders or defenders, they're keep saying, don't be alarmed when the test percentage goes up, there's going to be more positive because they're testing more people. Well, when the fuck are they testing the more people? How you get this information, people? 330 million people, and they've tested, I'm going to say it again, 1,751 people. When are they going to test more people? So that's just like...
That's a half a percentage.
Yeah,
U.S. wide, 0.5% tested. When we know based on the infection that of
the infection
of the test given. So if they've given that many tests and there's been 333,000 cases, then that means what are we looking at there, man? That's like 1 in 5 people have it.
They're trying to calm the people.
So 1 in 5 people have it based on these numbers of total tests and total cases, which means 1 in 5 of the 350 million. Let's go the low end. That means 100.
They are stopping it though, whatever.
75 million people.
I mean, if they're
have it right now.
I mean, even if you go on the thing that, what did we come to the conclusion there are people in the city or in the state? How many millions are in the state?
In our state, I think it's around. I think it's 15 million in.
All right,
in
so
New
say
York
you got
City.
15 million in New York City, and you've only tested 302,000.
It's the same number. It's that same half of a percent. And based on the testing.
And you know what that does, and you know who controls shit, and who's been slow playing shit, and you know whose people are backing things up. Oh, there's only a little bit of people. Well, because we've only tested a little bit of people. I mean, that's not going to cause the deaths to go up. by any means, but still, it's not a good thing. Fucking crazy. Mang and Neads Show.
Sonic Gardens Radio.
Yeah, Sonic Gardens Radio. Fucking live.
We're live. Sunday edition. Sunday edition. I think we got to lighten it up, and we got to keep bringing some music in on our Sunday
Well,
game.
he wants to bring some music in.
Let me give you guys a little something else. I got one from you here from my good friend, co-band member. When I first met this man, he came down, basically about 2 or 3 weeks after I met him. He
boy.
came down to the old Sonic Gardens and performed a little 3-piece set. And this was even like a super old system I recorded this on. But either way, this is the original Jesse Tressler band on October 14th, 2016, performing song that I always liked since I first heard it, called Angels.
Angel. Sonic Gardens Radio.
Sonic Gardens Radio. All right, listening to Sonic Gardens Radio, mAng and Neads Show, live. Sonic Gardens Radio, yeah.
Literally. mAng and Neads Show.
And I lost our little thing
He
here.
fucking lost his thing.
Hey, what can you do?
When your world is
There we are.
we're down here.
We're back.
We weren't back. We were just talking.
Looks like we got a
We got a submission.
we got a caller.
All right.
We got a special animal expert guest coming on here.
Oh, did he call you?
He said he's ready.
All right. Call him up.
Let's see if this works
Cell
here.
phone him.
Bam.
Plug it in. Plug it in.
Let me see what I can do here. 15. Unmute. Testing 1 2.
Can you
Hello?
hear me now?
Can you hear me now, sir?
I hear you.
Okay.
Josh, you there?
I am. I can hear you.
Hold on, let me turn the Jesse Tressler band down.
I can hear you, not anything else.
All right, what do we got? How we doing?
All right, we're a little staticky on your end,
Oh.
but it might be my phone.
Oh. I don't hear him or anything.
Oh, you don't?
No.
You hear me? Josh, do you hear me?
Oh, sorry. Hold on a second.
No, that's cool.
Now you can.
Is he talking?
How about now?
Oh, I can hear that. Oh, that voice. Sound like you're making movies. What's up?
Well, I've been watching, man. Just doing my thing. I had to come inside because the language was a bit much for all the foot traffic I get around my house.
Oh, yeah. Well,
So I bring it inside. So the kids on the big wheels didn't look at me funny.
I know.
yeah.
We're working on it.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, some days I
Some
mean,
days we get more crazy.
I mean, I actually can do it pretty damn well because when I was on the radio up there, you couldn't swear on the radio, man. So
Right.
I never swore at all.
you really had to.
Oh, I'm the worst. When I watch what I say, like when I rewatch the podcast, I can't believe how much I swear, man.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
Right, but you're just trying to catch up from all the years you were a little goody two shoe.
That's right.
Yeah. Me, I don't know what my excuse is. I just fucking swear.
I gotta start taking notes.
About
When
what?
I was watching you guys, well, just all the different things you guys were talking about. It's like I wanted to say something, but now I can't remember everything. But one of them,
Presidents?
Ange was talking about, like playing a movie for somebody.
Right.
Oh yeah, and how it's different. It's like a different experience when you're like watching a movie with someone as opposed to by yourself. Yeah.
Right, and and I have that feeling all the time. But the easiest I can relate it to is the thing you gotta note is that one person brings the movie to the other person's attention, like that scenario. So when I show you something of mine, you're self-conscious also because you told them to watch it.
Right.
And like, oh, you gotta listen to this song, and you play it, and you already know the song, so you don't listen to the song, you watch the other person's reaction. Well, Josh doesn't know about this because
you fucking
Josh
listen to
plays
it
his
and like
music
it.
and doesn't care what you think.
You fucking listen to it.
Yeah. So I wonder if that's sometimes I wonder, Ryan, if that is one of those things that is just me, or if it's like everybody kind of experiences.
Not at all, man. It's because that's why I wanted to bring it up, because when you are doing that and you talk it like about politics, and when one guy is your guy and you're watching it in an audience or like with a friend, you're self-conscious and you listen to him and you're like, okay, how am I going to explain what he's saying right now? How am I going to defend what he's saying right now? And I think that's how a lot of supporters are when they watch the president. Like, and most of their thing is like, I don't care, he still doesn't matter to me what he says.
Right. A lot of them are that way.
Right, but the other ones it has to occur to them, or they have to be thinking, all right, how am I going to spin this?
Yeah. Because
You know?
some of them people are actually smart people, you think, right?
A
You know
lot
what
of
I mean?
them are, man, especially
Yeah,
from
they're
the
smart
South.
people. And then you
They're all, because it's everyone in the South is on Trump's side, smart, stupid,
so-
like they're all
Right.
for Trump, man.
Right.
Some of the smartest people I know are Trump
yeah,
supporters
they want it to rise again.
And in my opinion, everybody is able to take their cues from a certain source of media that would be comparable to state-run TV in places like North Korea or Russia, and it allows it all to stay on point. And it's like, so that's why you can almost predict based on what pundits are saying what the next topic is going to be, and how, and it seems like it's just everything, man. It's always deny and deflect. So if you look at everything that happens within this administration, it just seems to me like the first move is deny, and then they deflect.
Distract.
So now the latest thing is everybody's throwing out their how everybody else said, all the different clips, because everybody's throwing out the Trump ones of his clips downplaying the virus. So now all of a sudden all the Trump people are just posting things of Democrats downplaying the hoax. But we're not, like, that's the whole thing, is regardless what our beliefs are, it doesn't mean we belong to some kind of group that is like that doesn't represent what our ideals are.
I
Like,
believe the children are free.
Where?
Oh.
That didn't work out the way you thought it
You
would.
just said the children of the future, and I would have agreed, but where are the
Well-
children free? The children are free because of no school? Maybe.
Right?
Maybe. Yeah. So that
Yeah, but so it makes sense, because that's what I'm seeing more and more is what you're doing with mainstream media or whatever, is all you're doing is learning your talking points for your side.
Right.
And those talking points come up from the people that watch the president talk, and they're like, all right, so based on what he just said, now we have to say this.
right.
All right, so let everyone know this is our new stance, this is our new position. And
Go
I'll tell you
get
what,
'em.
If it was a Democrat, if it was like when Obama was a president, I'm sure it was the same way. It's just we're on the defensive now because we don't have a guy, other than the dude that
Well,
goes
it's
around
almost
sniffing
like
kids.
it's when you're a minority, you have a certain advantage, and I'm saying a minority politics.
Oh.
You have like a certain advantage to like in my case, it's like if Bernie didn't come along, then there wouldn't be a guy. There wouldn't have been a guy that I would be talking up. So my talk up would have been basically criticizing all of them, and I still do. So it's like, hey, I was in a minority as far as people that thought that Bernie should be the leader of the free world, man. And so I'm in a minority, but that doesn't mean I can't bitch and moan and complain about the way things are, because my view lost, but it doesn't mean I don't have the ability to continue to portray it.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, well, can't win them all.
Can't win them all.
Not at all.
Yeah, and then the other one.
Our side doesn't win any. That's my point. And
Yeah.
our side being the people, regardless of who's in power, the people don't win.
Yeah, well, it's been that way from day two, probably. For sure.
Well, except for when
It
depends
has.
on the perspective.
I mean,
When
like
day
you
two,
know what yeah, day two. Like things might yeah, seriously, things get
George Washington, day two.
yeah, things might be okay, but like for the normal middle or lower class, but they're not like no one's coming to save us like in that, like, you know what I mean? So Bernie would have got in there and done some
So there's
shit,
still-
maybe, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our
Either way,
our
though-
luck he would have been one of these guys that gets in there and is in there for a year and die or not. I'm just saying that is the kind of luck of we have as human beings, is we would have got we would have finally got him in there, and then something terrible would have happened. Not like with the country, but with him. It's just like,
Yeah, either way, the whole point I guess I'm just trying to make is that when you don't have somebody and you stand in a minority belief system or, you know, unpopular politics, then you can criticize whatever you want,
right?
you know? Like,
Yeah.
say whatever you want. You don't have to. Yeah, everybody in this state hates Cuomo.
No,
I mean,
they-
not everybody.
No,
just
they don't.
the people, just the people that the majority of the upstate.
Oh man,
same
that's their
Republican
thing.
red,
All right, so,
red state, red.
So what you're
counties.
saying is like Trump will do something bad, and they don't even go defend him. Then they just attack. Well, your fucking governor, or our fucking governor, or he did this,
Right.
or he's trying to do that. It don't matter. Like, so if you say something to somebody about Trump, they'll fucking just light you up about fucking
Well, they did
Cuomo.
not.
Even if you don't like Cuomo, they'll go for you. Like they're fucking. That's their thing. We'll just bash somebody else. But they learned that from the top. So
That's what I'm saying. Is
They
that
have-
the
they have.
internet troll has emboldened every asshole to be an asshole, and man,
yeah, but some of them
sometimes
aren't good at it though. Is the whole problem. Some of them aren't good at being an asshole. When you've never been an asshole and you try to be an asshole, like you're not. You know what I mean? It's petty bullshit. Like you stomp him out. Like Johnny is on the wrong side, but he stomps people out when they try to fucking get after him. He'll stomp him out because he's an asshole and he's a smart asshole. Like he knows what to say. Like,
It's the worst kind.
yeah, a smart asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just an asshole. I'm not a
a
smart. one.
smart Republican asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna come out of the cabin.
Yeah.
We're calling you out now, Johnny.
Come on down. We
Come
miss
on.
you, Johnny.
Bring the heat.
Yeah.
What do you got to say about it?
Yeah, those guys you got tied up, they'll be okay for a little while.
I know, he's
You can
going,
talk on the
man.
phone.
How dare you guys even put my name in this title of
Yeah.
your show
Yeah, JFK.
with all your
Blow
country
away.
bashing,
Yeah.
anti-American Trump talk?
Nah, Trump, he's our president, man. Fucking
I
A.
know.
We roll with it. You know, you win some,
Yeah.
you lose some. We roll
No, man,
with
you
him. He's our
criticize.
guy.
They get criticized.
Yeah, they
man.
everybody gets. He's our president, though.
You got it comes with the gig.
What number? 45?
45.
Yeah, he's odd. Fucking A. Boom.
Can't do nothing about that.
Fucking A. What you got for me now?
Yeah.
Warner, what do you
So,
got, man?
you're
I
hanging
can't-
in there,
You
Ryan?
all right, Ryan? You got a fever?
No, my temperature's good. My
All
temperature's
right.
good, but
Well, you just
so I'm just going along. I'm revisiting the podcast in my mind.
oh,
And
because
the
this is
second thing I
another
was thinking
day.
about-
You're awful quiet.
Yeah, well, I was thinking about 3D printed civilization.
Oh, I
And
saw.
Ange had a point, man. If you built that, you know, with water reservoirs, you know what I mean, like at the top and filters.
Full efficiency. Yeah.
Right.
Like from the get-go, and it's not based on, it's like, this is what we're building for.
Somebody will burn them printers.
And what you were saying before is not only do you not have like, you know, jackhammers and framers and like all these different things, you know, laying beams and making like well, basically you're not carving away at something. You're printing it and you're building it and you're only putting down what you need.
Yeah, no
So the
wasted
waste
no
is-
wasted material.
Yeah.
You know, everything would be like from, you know, the just efficiency. If we
Yep,
were
and
able to
just in
build
the
our
fact, just
world,
from artwork, because that's my experience with 3D printing, is the difference. Like I make a sign, and I do it by relief, and it used to even CC'd machines do it by relief. They take a block and then they shave away, they carve away the letters, and you know that's how like a 3D printed sign would be the opposite, to where it starts at nothing and builds it, so you don't have the shavings. You know what I mean?
Right.
And just that idea applied to building houses, like not having any extra things that you don't use. You know, you don't have to put up any nets for your tools falling, and you know, all the harnesses and the insurance that it costs to put people in that dangerous environment building anything. You just get basically a crane that runs a 3D printer, and like that alone, like that's what you're saying. That's gonna, not only would it take people's jobs, but it was like displace their jobs. Like people wouldn't have to do as much.
Right.
And then
So
they have
then,
a fully efficient house.
so then you build
Or-
the idea of building a society for the people. You know, I mean, that's what it is. And what stands in the way of that is people that are already making something the way they are, and they don't want to change to make something new. You know, it's like,
because they're making money, and that money is going to be put towards keeping them in power.
right. And that's the game that's always been. It started, I mean, I don't know if it started, but, you know, guys like, you know, Rockefeller, and who is he, the oil guy, Ohio? Yeah. He was
one of the guys I was talking about, like you were talking about.
yeah, like,
presidents
but
and
you
shit,
see
like,
what Rockefeller did was he took
yeah, but
oil,
he
right?
bought it all up. He bought
And see,
all
this is prior to cars, so oil
Right.
wasn't needed for cars,
but it was needed
everybody
for lamps and
everybody lit their homes with the lamps.
Oil, yes.
He came out and he made Standard Oil, which was a special refining
To heat.
that although there was no guarantee and there was no way he could really you know, claim that it was better, it was all done exactly the same way. So it was, if you knew that if you had the Standard Oil that you were getting the good stuff, you know, the top brand and the least amount of chance of having a house fire with a lamp, you know, those types of things, those types of sales pitches that made his product superior to the competition's.
He that was
And,
John, right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was John.
And so at that point, once he owned the world with oil, you know, hey, when the cars came along and they started making different versions, what ended up, you know, with the
yeah, and he started pumping out. I think that he got into the heating oil and all that, obviously too.
right.
Um,
And then you got
Yeah, and he made so much money that
and then he
we
hooked
were
up
never,
with that.
we're
I
never
can't
gonna
remember
change
that.
to another energy source.
I remember
Carnegie.
That. I can't remember Carnegie. He bought all the fucking
So Carnegie,
bought all the iron ore, right? Started
see,
doing iron ore.
before he somebody came to him and said they wanted him to build a bridge over
Yep.
the Mississippi,
Yep. Yeah, you're
connecting the east with the
100%
west.
you're right. Yep.
And he basically looked at the thing and was like, I don't know anything about, like, you know, and this was there wasn't any steel.
Well, there
bridges.
was, but it was so much to get it from over
well,
there
no, here's
to over here.
the only way you could make steel was on a small scale. Swords, shields, these things that were horse, you know, that's all blacksmiths were for, until they could figure out a way to mass make it by making like steel beams. And obviously they started with that bridge. So what he ended up doing was buying all the ability to make the steel mines. You know, Pittsburgh was the headquarters, right? So he bought all the
yes.
steel, like all the steel mines, and then they started importing steel like
iron
mad,
ore.
and making the steel and the beams to build bridges and skyscrapers, etc. And so he became a super rich guy. And yeah,
And then like you were saying,
they did spend their
and then you were
lives.
saying about Rockefeller about how when the car came along, same with Carnegie. When the car came along, they started using steel.
And one thing I do want to point out, you know, I put down a lot, all these, you know, I attack rich people a lot, but I do want to point
Really?
out that both Carnegie and Rockefeller ended their lives in because they were at first in competition to see who could be more wealthy, but they ended their lives in like trying to give away. They were like trying to be more generous, and that was like their ending competition, was like giving away more money without, you know, jeopardizing their legacy and family and shit, you know. So not to give them too much credit, but a little bit of credit for having a little competition of generosity.
They built that bridge in 1874 across the
Oh,
Mississippi.
Josh with the deep facts.
What is it?
And it was Carnegie, and it was
that,
and who
what,
backed him? J.P. Morgan.
EADS Bridge. Who I we want to know. What do we want to know about it?
Who hired him? Who hired Carnegie to build that bridge? Was it Rockefeller or J.P. Morgan? I couldn't remember.
It was Morgan.
Because there was some kind of control, and it was a really interesting breakdown of all those guys. And the biggest thing I took away from it was that, or not biggest thing, but one of the more interesting things that related to local and where we are is that
one. See, that one wasn't Carnegie that did that one.
It wasn't the Mississippi. Was it Missouri? Which one?
Might have been, because that first bridge.
The
wasn't
Missouri.
Carnegie.
I was thinking it was more like the turn of the century
that
times.
first bridge that the Keystone Bridge Company did that, and that was fucking James Buchanan ads.
So it might have been a smaller one. Either way, the one, from what I understood, the one he was doing had never been
But you're
done
totally
before.
right that Carnegie. Listen, Carnegie did. You're 100% right that he started because no one was here doing iron ore or mining or getting the steel. And then when he did that, people had to come to him to get fucking steel.
Right.
So you're absolutely. Oh yeah, he fucking ran the show, and not only bridges, they started doing buildings and towers. Oh, you're 100% right with that. Like he fucking took over, and he was one of the, like you said, he was one of the richest guys around forever. There was 3 or 4 of them, right? That like they basically started to build America. Those guys did.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So here's a great thing for local that is like anybody wants to correct me or fill in the gaps, because part of it is me putting together a couple little things, but the first power plant, from what I understand, generating power was in Niagara Falls, where they were able to create power from the waterfalls there, right? So they connected to generate power, because the first powered home was J.P. Morgan's in New York City.
Yeah, but that was. Was
so,
the Pearl Street station first before the one in Niagara Falls?
This was like the test. So yeah, Pearl Street, is that in New York City, you mean?
That is.
Okay. Well, what we're talking about was like a giant multi generating. So from what I understood is that the first first major,
that one,
whatever,
that I
it
just
was
said
DC
was the first commercial central power plant in the U.S., and it was located in Manhattan.
Okay, and so did that power J.P. Morgan's home?
I can find that out for you.
Okay, well, number 2 is, so let me continue with this. So they needed more power, right?
Yep.
So they went to Niagara Falls, and then they had to create a power line from Niagara Falls to New York City, which was where the people were and where they needed the electricity, right? So that power line was installed along the railroad line that runs between the 2 main interstates of New York State, and also the entire in-between country from Buffalo to through here all the way to the Catskills, and that whole chunk, which actually is what made even Norwich, New York, a popular place in the early 1900s, mid and even late,
till 58, right?
Was
they tore at that one, the rail that
was
went
the railroad
from the city up to here and then through was I think they tore that down. I'm pretty sure. Was it, what did I say earlier?
And so we had
B&W or O&W.
So we had a huge transfer dock where you could like spin the train.
Yeah, roundhouse.
Roundhouse,
roundhouse. They call that.
They pulled them in, and then they spun the train around so they could go back, in any direction from there. And so that made this a very happening town. So the reality is don't
forget the canal here either, and that was here before that, and that
right.
ran
So
up to Utica.
Again,
so
another reason we were populated.
Yes.
Shit was happening, and in the same
Still
theory.
there, Warner?
Oh, I got an interesting fact for you. I was just waiting.
In the same theory, I'm trying to close my comment, was that a place like Norwich, New York, was one of the first places in the entire world to have electricity. Like, we are, like, the beginning of all that stuff is right, the first people to experience that, I imagine, because every time the grid broke off, it had to come off of that same railroad line, following that route. And again, this is just my own, like, kind of theory based on the facts that I do know.
This is a theory.
Well, yeah, I don't know because where do you read? Where does anybody say, like, when?
Yeah, they didn't know it was going to be a record.
Yeah, like I remember. So when I had first moved to Gilbertsville in Otsego County, and you can get that fact out there. But the one thing I noticed was that there was an article about how the State Highway 51 that runs from Mount Upton to Morris and through Gilbertsville, and then continues all the way to like Ilion, way up north. But that chunk, that like 11-mile chunk from Mount Upton to Morris, was paved in 1905.
Really?
That's true.
Okay, so
that's true. There's a placard that says that.
Yeah, and when you think about that, you're like, so you think about that and you go, wait a minute, 1905, come on, man, there weren't even cars. What are they paving stuff?
They were, there wasn't there?
But there was cars.
There was cars.
There wasn't like cars that were affordable to the average man until like 1917.
Those rich people over there, though, that had the fucking plantations with the slaves, they had the money.
Because if you had a car, it was because you had a driver to go with the car that you would be paying.
Average people didn't know how to drive.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, Angie, you're the one that told me this.
Yeah. So it could be double enforcing a
They had the railroad over
some
there
bullshit.
too. When they
but
had
it
all
seems
that railroad,
like too clever for me to make up on my own.
They had that all connecting, like the one through Gilbertsville, the one over from Norwich, whatever, like over to Morris, type deal.
Yeah.
The one that went through from Gilbertsville all the way down through South New Berlin, through New Berlin and up that way, like that was all. Yeah, these places were hopping back in the day. That's why there was like the hotels over that way and all that shit. Like there was a lot.
And so, like I said,
because like you're saying about the cars, there wasn't a lot of car traffic, and people traveled either on a train or on fucking stage and buggy or whatever, stagecoach. So
in the canal.
And the canals.
A little bit of local information here on the mAng and Neads Show.
Yeah.
Sonic Gardens Radio.
I know a little history about a few.
We're on the phone with Ryan Warner.
Right. Tell us about Oxford. We know you got
on the same line and the same timeline when the canal was here. Bluestone Golf Course. Yeah. You know where that's located, like our Bluestone mine.
Yes.
They got the sidewalk for Rockefeller Center from Oxford, from the Bluestone mine in Oxford.
Oh, nice.
Really? You positive?
Yeah. Hey, man, since we're shouting out some crazy facts right now,
Corey here.
We are currently sitting. Sonic Gardens is located on the property of, since we are on Borden Avenue in Norwich, New York.
Creamery.
Okay, and although a lot of people remember this as the Victory Buildings and the Great American Central location, it was before that. It was the Borden Creamery.
Yes,
and
it
the
was.
Borden Creamery was one of 3 suppliers of milk and cream to New York City.
Yes, it was.
So there we are sitting on a piece of history right now.
Yeah, we are. Well, you're not, Ryan, but we are.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We're going back to that.
Yeah.
Well,
we're doing
I
something.
wonder when they're going to start letting us buy milk straight from the farms again.
I don't know. I keep seeing people posting pictures of people dumping milk. I just saw another one.
What do you mean, dumping milk? Like protesting milk or
No,
something?
they're dumping it out of their... Evidently, no one's coming to pick it up or some shit because they're dumping it out from what they milk.
Oh.
Yeah, I just saw somebody posted that they dumped it into the shit spreader and they were going to just go dump it in the field because the dude never came to pick the milk up. Evidently, something's going on.
Have you guys ever had raw milk?
Yeah, because, yes. I mean, I don't drink milk anyways.
Yeah,
You know
I'm not
me,
really.
I'm
I'm
milk
not a
guy.
fan.
But yeah, because my cousin Brett and Kyle, they grew up right down the street from me. They're at the Proskin farm, and they had it there all the time. They had a picture of it always right there because they go over and get it out of the tank.
No
Yeah.
kidding. I remember we got to sip it when I was a kid.
Old Sippy.
Yeah. Like, and, imagine now taking elementary school kids, like, all right, everyone take a sip. Everyone take a sip from the bucket.
Right. Ugh.
Well, there's been some like major controversy over the years with people drinking a little too much of that stuff and having some issues.
Well, I heard I've never had a chance to drink it again, but I've heard people, I love milk.
Huh.
But
I don't.
People are like, they'll pay a lot of money to get it illegally.
It's
strange to me.
I love ice cream and I love cereal, but I can't milk messes me up, man. So I can't. I love chocolate milk. I used to love that when I was younger, but I just can't drink chocolate milk. I can't eat cereal with milk.
I put a quarter cup of oat milk in there and the rest water and dump it on my cereal and eat it because I eat a lot of cereal.
What's you just to water down that oat milk? Because I've been using the almond milk, but I don't do the water thing though.
I
it
do.
Looks
I don't.
a little.
As I don't. I mean, I put just water on it sometimes. Fucking.
Why would you water down oat milk?
Why not?
Because it's already water, man.
He's like preserving it, like so he doesn't use it all, and he doesn't have to use water. So he's just like
give the water
wetting it up.
Down real milk.
Yo, when we went cross country with Chris, and he was like this is when we were super young. We were like, I was like 18, so it was like, I don't even know, man, like 2001 or something. And Chris and I went across country, and he was like super vegan, didn't even eat milk, nothing. So like when he would have, I guess he'd eat cereal. Like at the time, it seemed to be super vegan, but he would like eat cereal with just water in it, like Sugar Smacks and shit. And I'd be Sugar Smacks with water. I remember it was just so funny. Or he'd like get a cheeseburger with no meat on it at the
just cheese
McDonald's.
And bun.
Cheese and bun and some ketchup too, and all and those things.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Huh.
But
Hey, so listen, you guys checked, and it was 39 cases in Shenango County still.
Yeah, it's hung up, man, because I think there's just a total outbreak. But I think the more important number that I thought was that the tests given as opposed to people that have it. And I don't know, it just seems to me that that's like a 1 in 5 number right now, and that's obviously changing and it's not fixed, but it's kind of like a gauge to go off of. Is that, and are these tests, the 1,751,000, are they just for people with like extreme condition, or because they're sick or can't breathe? I mean, obviously not, because they're not critical. So it's like, now that the testing is out, it basically just comes down to going to your provider and saying, hey, give me a test. And they're like, yeah, give it to me. So how many of these people have no symptoms or have no, that's just my...
Do you know...
36.
It's like, how many have been tested in America?
Yeah.
And the number of how many people that are infected?
Yes.
We definitely know this.
Yes.
All right, so what is that?
1,751,296 people have been tested in all of the United States.
And I can break down Shenango County for you real quick.
Which, in quick math, in my quick math, which could be wrong, but I think that's 0.5% of the total population.
We've had 168 total tests in Shenango County, just so you know.
Well, no, what I'm saying is the amount of people that have been tested and the amount of people that have been tested positive.
Yeah.
Okay, now tested positive have been 333,017
in the whole U.S.,
which is about
so if you were to
1/5.
If you take the number of the amount of people tested,
yes,
and compare that to the amount of people in the world, right?
Yeah.
and then the amount of people that tested positive, and you know, like use that percentage, you know, as that, like how many people would be infected if everyone in the test, like use that same average.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I came up with about 1 in 5, 1 in 6 people that have been tested are testing positive.
Right. So if you were to say that if you were to test everyone in America, and it would be the same percent of people that testing positive, do you know how to do the math on that?
I was just so basically 1 in 6, which puts it at 50 million people.
50 million.
I
Yeah,
mean,
because
just
only
quick math,
only
give or take.
1,753,000 have been tested. So, and that's out of 330 million.
So you could safely say that right now today there's 50 million people, tested or not. 50 million people have this virus.
Well,
If you expand that to the whole world,
or could get it. You know what I mean?
So in that case, Ryan, we're talking 1 billion. 1 billion people have this right now.
Or could get it.
Or are gonna get it.
In the world.
Yeah. Because really, that's the only way you can apply it, because it keeps coming up, oh, we don't know, now everyone's been tested. Well, they're not going to find an area that is testing lower or testing higher. In the grand scheme of things, it's going to keep you from, you know, averaging it out, I don't think, man. So I think the amount of people that have tested positive compared to the amount of people that have been tested would be the same thing. It's
like we said, it's going to be a changing number, and as these numbers reach up to like 10 million tested, you know, maybe that number drops and it's not so many, you know, but it doesn't mean they didn't get it, because what you have to assume is no one's like immune to this. So it basically comes down to that
if you fucking quarantined and all that, and like
right, if you
out,
quarantine and you let the thing die to nothing and it has no existence and no way to spread or continue to infect, that's how it ends. So like for us, 21 days, I've been fairly, I mean, it's so easy to transfer that, technically I can't claim anything because I've been to the store. I touched one thing. Who knows? I touched one thing with my contaminated glove, and the next guy touched that thing with his bare hand and then went and contaminated his whole work group. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Boom. But in my fair assessment, I feel like in my 21 days, if I had it, that it would be, it would have been, you know, dead. And I haven't made any contact. You know, again, I can't really say that for 100% sure that I haven't made contact.
The only way it is going to keep spreading is through misinformation.
Yeah, and
I mean,
it seems like we're past at least the point of everybody saying it's bullshit, and everybody agrees that we need to be on board. It's just that now they're saying that
these people
there's still people, man. I just saw a post today where they're saying, go out to your local hospital and see for yourself.
Yeah.
Hospitals are empty.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, that doesn't mean shit. That don't mean shit.
It doesn't mean shit.
It don't mean shit. Don't mean there's not people infected. I mean, almost 10,000 people have died in America so far.
What are they talking about? Yeah.
Like, come on.
No, they're saying it's not even real. And then, like I said, like the other thing that really irks me is the way people are attacking New York City.
We have another 1,000 deaths overnight.
The upstate and central New York people are attacking the city of New York. And they find it a perfectly great time to say it's time to succeed from New York City and become our own state. You know, it's like, give me a fucking break. Yeah, right? Then all of a sudden, everybody.
Christ, the next day, dude, he's like, fuck upstate. Well, that's what everyone's saying. Is that's in relation
right.
to what you're saying.
And that's not.
There's more people.
It's not even true. None of that shit's even true. Fucking assholes.
Yeah, people are people, man.
34,000. All you got to do is, dude, you listen to that guy, like the way that he talked about. He discussed, you know, his brother having it and how that made him feel. It's like the just the ability. I don't care, man. You know, it's like there's a certain point that it just like that's a human being to me. as opposed to the guy that
Right.
like
Fuck, our money comes from
he could have
down
sat there
man.
and said, not one time in his press conferences does he say how
Oh.
great he is.
Oh, Andrew?
Yeah, does
Yeah.
he?
No,
Does
he's,
he? Does he
does
one
good.
time say,
No,
by
I
the
watch
way,
him. He does good.
look at my ratings, they love me?
No,
you know?
it's not
He
about that.
doesn't-
He wants
he doesn't,
to try to save people, and I get why he wants to. Like, if they're not
And-
using ventilator, whatever. These people hear that, and they don't hear the part where if they listen to the whole fucking thing and not read a fucking stupid article of someone who doesn't like them. So when he said these things about ventilators and about bringing people up here, he was saying that if he needs to use them for a hospital, or if there's hospitals up here with an extra, or they're not using some, he's not going to take them all from them, but he wants to use them. But if they need one, all they got to do is call, and they're going to make it available. Like, you know what I mean? They're going to basically, it's kind of seem like if someone needs one up here, they're going to get one from another hospital that's not using it, and you know what I mean? Vice versa.
Yeah,
They're just hoping to be able to spread them around from what they have because they don't have enough. Now, if there's people dying down there that need a ventilator and we got some extra up here, it's fucking common sense.
Right.
Isn't it?
And they're saying, like, so here was one that I, a person
Dude, there
that
was people protesting out in front of the hospital yesterday. Like
a person
3 of
that I
them.
love dearly, had a post, and it showed, and I guess she didn't really say anything, but the post was about protest people that had a big sign made up of a, shaped like a shitty drawing of a
Yeah,
ventilator.
they were at our hospital,
and like,
weren't they?
was that our hospital?
I think. I'm pretty
And
sure.
it was like they were standing out front getting, picture opportunities of 3 guys
There was some
that
guy
said,
from
you know,
fucking Oxford
that
Warner's
said, come
buddy,
and
probably.
come and take our ventilators. Come and take our ventilators, like, I dare you. It's like,
Yeah.
seriously, like, that's where we're at. Like,
Yeah,
I thought we
so
were
fucking
Americans.
stupid.
Thought we were all Americans, and we're not even like unity on the state. Like, we
Yeah.
don't care about New York City because why? Like, come on, man.
Oh, they only listen. New York City.
If it wasn't for New York City, there wouldn't be a
us.
United
They
States.
are 66% of our fucking income tax.
But
down
even the
there.
whole thing, man.
Dude, there are 3 of them counties down there are 66%.
They would like nothing more than to cut us from their thing, I bet. Oh man. I'll tell you.
Yeah, like fucking the money comes from down there. The tax money at all, man.
Everything though, the culture, American
Yeah.
culture, like
Dude,
shit,
where do you
man.
think where do they think that all like their family and all them fuckers came in from? Down to fucking Ellis Island or fucking
Not
Mass?
all of them.
Or Mass. Well,
There are quite a few OGs in the area.
yeah.
The true Revolutionary War children,
The natives.
the natives.
Easy.
And in the natives' eyes, everybody's they've never changed their stance on immigrants. At
Right.
least certain ones, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but how many of them?
It goes back to that,
How many
gangs
of
in
the
New
ones that are
York.
talking on here? If you're a native or whatever, you're not picking. You're not Republican or Democrat, right? You wouldn't think
Well, no,
so.
I mean,
right?
I think natives and natives have a bit of emboldened, with the Trump era, for sure.
Huh. All right. It's getting about that time, I guess.
Making America great. That's all part of it. Making America great. How
I'm
far
get-
back do you go? You
I'm
go
getting
back
hungry.
to George Washington days?
I'm getting what?
Oh, you're getting your tummy's growling.
Yeah, because all
Oh my
this,
God,
'cause
this guy's gonna bail on a beautiful podcast just because his tummy hurts.
Fucking
Look at this
starving.
guy. I'm pretty hungry too, actually.
Yeah, man. I don't.
Yeah, I'd go have lunch with you, but those days are
They're
over.
Yeah, we can FaceTime.
Oh shit!
It's dinner time.
What do you think, Ryan?
What do you think, Ryan?
No, I know Josh keeps a pretty regimented eating schedule. He's like my girlfriend. She'll give me the 20-minute warning, where she's like, if I don't eat in 20 minutes, I'm gonna start being unreasonable, and I'm not gonna apologize for it. So we need to eat.
And I bet you,
Josh
you're a
is the
lot.
same way, except he's a little different. He's like, I don't fucking eat, Joe. No. So yeah, when Josh says it's time to eat, it's time to eat.
Yeah.
I imagine Josh is pretty regular.
Yeah,
I
when
imagine
driving
you're like,
down the road, you know what I mean? Like, Well,
you're like me, Ryan.
I don't have to go there, but
You're like me, right, bro?
normal functioning Josh.
Coffee.
He'll drive until he sees either sushi or Mexican.
Yeah. And you're surviving on coffee, right? Coffee and
Oh, I drink I drink way coffee.
I know, but I find myself, I'm like right now I'm real hungry, but all of a sudden I have a cup of coffee and
I'm
not
drinking
hungry
coffee
anymore.
right now, but I have to eat too. It's like even if I like a lot of
That's where you're regular.
yeah.
Regular
Yeah, I
guy.
drink so much coffee that in order for me to drink another cup of coffee, like I'm like, ooh, I want another cup of coffee. I'm like, well, I have to eat something first.
Right.
You know, like it's the only reason I eat half the time. Is like, you know, well, I want to drink another cup of coffee, so I gotta, choke something down.
Yeah, I like
man.
coffee. I like shots of espresso in my coffee.
Yeah, buddy.
Fucking hey, man.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll let you guys get back to it.
Oh,
Close it out.
we're gonna
Nice
close
hanging
her
out with
down.
you again.
All right, bud. Nice
Keep
to
up
hear
the,
from you.
Keep up the good work. Wait, did you find out how many cases were in Chenango County? Or is it still lagging?
I told you 36.
No, it's 39 yesterday.
Nah, I was wrong.
Well, either way, it's not
I'm telling you that there is. What I tell you? Yeah, 36 cases remain at 36. This is from a reliable news source.
Oh, okay.
As of 12:45 p.m. today.
Wait a second. So two people were cured, and we're back down.
No, I think it was just misreported.
It was misreported. Must be.
Oh.
They've reported
Gotcha.
96 people in precautionary quarantine and 229 in mandatory quarantine. So we don't have the test, obviously. If these people are quarantined and they don't know, they haven't tested them. So, and what did I tell you about? 168 people were tested so far.
And how many were positive?
36.
And what percentage is that? What percentage is
4.
36?
1 in 4.
Whatever.
1 in
You can
4
find that out,
tested.
apply it to the national population. There you go.
1 in 4 tested. That's a lower number. See, every place is going to have different rates and different amounts. So right now we're below the average that I just said in the whole country.
Yeah. So it's like the swing is.
Or we're
1 in
above
4,
it.
1 in 6.
Right. We're going to be like, all of a sudden around here we might be 50-50. You get tested 50-50, you got it. Somebody else might go up to, shit, man, I'm telling you. 3 out of 4 people might have it. It might get like that.
Yep.
Because it isn't, there's nobody practicing. Like I said, I sat there, at any store I go to, I sit there and watch. I got my stuff on, and if I have to go, but I watch everybody just walk up to the same door, grab the handle. No regard, no glove,
regard.
nothing.
Yeah,
And
like
that's,
I watched in the grocery store parking lot while I was waiting. I watched the person going around collecting all the carts.
Yeah,
No gloves.
no regard.
And people aren't putting their carts away.
Yeah.
So this woman goes around and collects 10 carts.
Some of those, too,
puts
I
them
mean,
all
those,
together,
like,
walks them inside, puts them in the rack, and then just walks away from it. So all
Right.
those carts.
I actually felt a little bit bad because I saw like a young girl that's working at Tops right now. Like, why is a teenage girl, that is in like high school still, risking their life just to, make it just doesn't seem right to me.
No one told
They
her
shouldn't
that
be there.
She shouldn't be
Yeah,
there.
nobody's telling her,
Well,
dude.
because we were told the kids couldn't get it, and that if you did, you were going to live through it, and no young person was dying. That was half of the misinformation in the beginning that people are having trouble forgetting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, they're trying to ease us into fucking 5 years of lockdown. But
that's what we think too.
Besides-
That's what I think too, man. I really do. So you're hearing it first on mAng and Neads Show, Sonic Gardens Radio.
5-year lockdown.
I was blowing the whistle yesterday, but I didn't want to scream it out. Now that Josh said it, yeah, dude.
well,
this
I've been
isn't-
saying they've been slow playing us. 15,
We
30,
have.
next is 45 days. Next, you know what I mean?
But you just called it 5 years.
next is 60.
Oh, fuck.
So,
So
well, I mean, if you're going to do it this way and you're going to be worried, it's not
That's what we
going to
said.
just get going. It ain't going to get going.
it's what we said. It's what we said.
I'm gonna get gone.
Get
All right, bro.
going.
Peace out. We're gonna close this thing out too. 'Cause
Say
we're
hi
at,
to everybody for me.
I will, man.
All
I
right.
will.
Tell your dad I've been thinking about him. Been worried about him.
Say hi, Mang and Neads.
Hey, buddy.
I'll
Hey.
turn it back on.
Hey.
Hi, Mang and Neads.
No,
You say it, and I'll turn it back on.
Emmett.
no.
Oh.
Emmett. Don't you sass to your daddy.
All right.
Bye, Emmett.
I tried.
All right, man. We're gonna give you guys.
a soundbite. listening to the mAng and Neads Show.
Bye, Emmett.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
He's cold shoulder.
Oh,
He
man.
turned away.
We're gonna close
Guys,
this out. I'll
take
get you
it easy,
guys
man.
a,
Stay safe.
All right, man. Late,
get you a
bud.
nice closeout jam here.
All right. Hot
All right.
jams. Mang and Neads Show. Sonic Garden Radio Live. Taking it to the next extreme. I sound like I'm in a fucking
A tunnel?
yeah.
Oh,
You got-
shit. I gotta kill that.
I'm in a tunnel.
Sloop.
Tunnel vision.
Sloop.
All right. 6 o'clock hour.
All right.
2 hours and something.
This is our special Sunday edition
Palm
of
Sunday.
the Mang and Neads Show
All right.
live.
I'm going
on
to make
Sonic
like Michael
Gardens
Jackson
Radio.
and beat it.
Okay.
What song did you get?
No, I'm working on it here. Don't worry
Oh.
about it. Don't you worry, sir.
I am.
I'm gonna find a nice tune to jam out to the end here. Actually, you know what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that.
What is it? Another Wayne Ben?
I was thinking maybe. Give this one to
All right.
Uncle Uku and the guys. This one is from a October 7th of 2017. And this is Uncle Uku and the guys doing their song Bruises live on Sonic Gardens Radio.
We out. Thanks for having us.
That's right.
Mang and Neads.
Please like and subscribe. Tell a friend.
Tell a friend to tell their friend. We'll all be friends.
I was your one and only. Only when you're further down than me. You know you can't be what you wanna be. In this world you must live to be free. Bruises on my back, made by your mouth, for the things you wanna scream but won't let out. The bruises on my back, made by your mouth, for the things you wanna scream but won't let out. You call me your one and only. Only when you're further down than me. Yes, you got to get your life on check. You can always count on me. The bruises on my back, made by your mouth, for the
right.